And for those of you that are just joining in, my name is Shawn Nicholson, and I'm the managing principal of SMN Square, where we provide the building blocks to your sustainability and success. We are so delighted you have joined us on today to learn more about business, as well as some tips to help you during this time that we're dealing with the COVID-19. So as you look at your screen, you see that there are some building blocks, because my background is I'm a carpenter by trade, building contractor, spent many years doing that. So a lot of things that I do, I understand how to build things. And just like we were used to building buildings and houses and things of that nature, there are principles and there are things that you have to go through, processes, in order for you to have a successful project, from the foundation to the roof, and then from the inside to the carpet, the cabinets, the finishing, all of the components. They are considered the building blocks, as it were, to have a good looking house at the end. So with business, there are some building blocks that we'll be able to provide to you that will help you to maintain your business, keep it sustainable for you, and as well as being successful, even in these times that we're dealing with right now. Innovation is the key. There's always a way to incorporate things into your business model. So our agenda today, you'll have the introduction, which is me, the purpose of it, which I've already explained. We're going to talk about the 3 weekly tips, resources that I want to share with you. I'll give you next week's tips as well. And then I'll have some question time. Now, the question time, there is a chat screen that you can type in your questions, and we'll be monitoring that. But not only will you be able to type it in here online, but you can go to the website, our website, smnsquare.com, or you can go to our Facebook page, which is also SMN Square. You can utilize the Twitter feed, which is also SMN Square. And for those of you that like the IG or the Instagram, we're still on there as well as SMN Square. So let's move right on. As you see here, this screen shows that there is order and disorder. In anything, there's order and there is disorder. Now, obviously, when we look at order, it looks at something that is well put together. Disorder, not so much. And if you look here, the state of your present situation. Now, order will imply that you know where you are, you embrace the reality, you keep your plan of action, that's what POA is, in front of you at all times, and you continually work on your plan of action. Now, in contrast, disorder would be not knowing where you are, panicking, not being engaged, and simply not even having a plan of action. So if you see here, you can look at the difference between an order and versus disorder. Secondly, the 3 tips that we want to share with you on this week is technology, teleworking, and technique. Now, they're very important to any business, and even during the times that we're experiencing now with employers having to let some of their employees go, or even changing the way that they do business by teleworking. Now, teleworking is not anything that is new. People have been doing that for years, working remote, as it were. But now we're dealing with a time that people are forced, those that are still remaining employed, to work from home. Well, what does that look like? So we want to talk about that as well. Now, if we look at tip 1, technology. Technology basically helps businesses maintain their data flow, manage contacts, track process, and then maintain employee records. Now, technology is very important, especially in the day that we're living in now. I believe in having hard copies and making sure that we have files, but also you have the cloud and you have these drives and these servers. And having that, they make things readily accessible. Case in point, a lot of folks are having to work remote right now, and they may not be able to access their servers that are at home or at the office. So with technology, it allows you to be able to tap in through a VPN or a private network so that you can sync into that server that is at the workplace. That way you're able to have access to whatever files, whatever documentation that you may need to have to help you do your day-to-day work. Second tip, teleworking. Now, Again, this is not something that is new, but it is a major buzzword right now. People have been working remotely and teleworking for years. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of companies that have gone to this model to save on overhead. And as you see with my description here, it eliminates travel costs and provides a better work-life balance. And for companies, it also lowers employee-related and real estate costs, which is your overhead, which can be a major boom to small businesses. So if you look at it, if a business would take on the idea or the concept of teleworking, they can reduce their amount of overhead and use that towards the bottom line for profit. So you entrepreneurs that are out there, you may want to consider that when you're doing your hires moving forward. Then our third tip being the techniques. Well, what does that mean exactly? Well, when you build your business, the first thing you want to do is secure, obviously you want to secure a decent printer. I suggest that you would have a printer, copier, scan. And for those of you that still do faxing, you can have that component to it as well. A phone, not just a cell phone, but yeah, sometimes it's good to have a landline as well, right? You don't want to burn up your minutes, if you will, but have a landline so that you can communicate properly and it has a more professional look. You can have people on hold and you can shift calls. And if you're working with a couple of different people in the brick and mortar situation, you can transfer calls as well. Then you want to make sure that you have a great internet. You got to have great internet. No, we cannot use dial tone or dial up broadband. That is going to make your life a lot more complicated. So you want to at least have Fios or have some type of equivalent using the fiber optic so that you can have the speed when you can be able to do the things that you need to do and not have to worry about delays and hang up in your computer. All right. Also, you want to make sure that you have some type of marketing plan and use extensive advertising. Now, that would be the social media platforms that we have. That would be print media that we have. All of these things are necessities in order to promote your business and then really just create a brand. One of our sessions, we'll talk about brand awareness as well. So again, the 3 tips for this week is technology, teleworking, and techniques. Now, allow me to show you this. This is what I look at as being the building success. Now, as I mentioned that my former life, if you will, was a carpenter and a builder. Now, in any building, you have to start out with a foundation. So if you notice here, the foundation, you have to have a strong foundation. Now, one thing I learned about building, if you have a solid foundation and a strong foundation, you can put as many levels on top of that foundation as you want because it will support it, or the load bearing as they call it. Not only that, if anything was to ever happen and that building needed to be demolished, that foundation, if it is solid and strong, you can take away the building on top of the foundation and then still erect another building using the same foundation. So when you're starting your business and when you're going into entrepreneurship, my advice to you is to have a strong foundation. Now, this will be the embrace the mission. What is it that you want to do? What is your why? Why is it that you want to go in business? Is it to help people? Is it to give job creation and help people to better their lives? Is it to make a lot of money? Whatever the reason is, you need to embrace what your mission is. The second tier to that, as we're building a strong foundation, is to acknowledge long hours and accept that. It has been said that entrepreneurship is not part-time or full-time, it's all the time. And you must acknowledge that you're going to have to work some long hours. And you're going to have to accept that. Yes, you're going to have to be the first one in, the last one leaving every single day until you can at least delegate responsibilities as you're bringing in staff. But even with that, you're still going to be connected to that business hourly. Now, there's only 24 hours in the day, so I do suggest that you have good time management, which would be another tip that we'll talk about in future webinars. Thirdly, you want to look at the fact that you should set expectations as well as boundaries. It is important for you to have expectations about your business and about your staff, your employees, your vendors, your subcontractors, those that you're outsourcing things to. You must set the expectation. I'm of the opinion that if a person doesn't know what their expectation is, they will never meet them. So make sure that you set expectations. And in addition to that, you have to create some boundaries. You have to stand for something. There should be some things that you're just not willing to do, no negotiation whatsoever. Those boundaries are going to help you as you build your business and create that strong foundation that you need to build success. Then you have to strive for balance. Now, this is something that is challenging for an entrepreneur, but you must practice life-work balance, right? And what happens is if you're so inundated with your work and you never know how to turn that switch off, things will begin to bleed over into your personal life as well. So your personal and your social life actually becomes your work life. Now, I tell you what, there's a saying of calling the pot calling the kettle black. I am a workaholic. I will admit that. However, I have learned good work-life balance because I take the time that I need when I need it, to make sure that I stay energized, make sure that I have a fresh mind, make sure that my mind is clear and those ideas and that innovation is steadily percolating, if you will, inside my brain. But that's a growth area for me as well. So you're not in this alone. And then lastly, protect your time. This is something that I had to learn over time, that your time is currency. I will say that again. Your time is currency. Your time is worth something. There is a monetary value to your time. I have learned to vet every appointment, every meeting that I may be called into because my time is money. And you should take that same approach as well. So again, to build a strong foundation, to have a building, your successful building, this is your successful business rather, this is what you're going to need to do. So I invite you to take heed to that. Then if you do that, you have a well-executed plan, or again, the POA, the plan of action. Now, in my opinion, the most successful entrepreneurs are incredibly passionate about their work. It's the fire in their bellies that drives them to succeed. Those of you that may know me or may not know me, I tell you, I'm driven by passion. And the passion that I have, I break it down this way, is I pass, I on. These square tips is a perfect example on how I'm passing what I have on to you. That's the passion that I have so that you can be successful in business. We need to build the entrepreneurial ecosystem on a daily basis because that's where we find collaboration and camaraderie and all these things together so that we can build a good nation, if you will. Then not everyone in your circle of friends will understand or even appreciate the commitment and the demands that business has. Not everyone is going to understand why you work late nights. Not everyone's going to understand why you're up early in the morning, while you're inundated with work and papers and moving things around and trying to make deals and negotiating and things of that nature. Everyone that may be in your circle right now is not going to understand that, and you should embrace that, all right? Don't let it deter you from your vision, but embrace it. And then in the same way that you schedule business activities, it's also important to schedule time to be with your loved ones and to engage in pursuits outside of works. Find an outlet. Be able to, whether it's riding a motorcycle, playing golf, doing rock climbing, hanging out at the park, whatever the case may be, find an outlet. That way you'll have a successful and an effective work plan or plan of action. So I urge you to do that. Now, every week we'll be here at 3 o'clock as I provide 3 tips. Now, normally this would take about 15 minutes or so, and I think I'm right on my 15-minute mark now. And then periodically we may stretch it a little bit further to have maybe 30 minutes, if that may be the case. As you see across your screen now, there should be a free offer that will go there. So for those of you that are listening to this webinar, we're going to offer a 30-minute coaching session with a business expert. And so you can purchase that. It's half off. Normally that 30-minute consultation is $150. Because you attended this webinar on today, you can purchase it for $75. And you can follow our website to get more information about that. Then I want to make sure I want to share a couple of, see if I can share this with you also, or better yet, we'll download it here. And that's going to be some resources that we have. I'm calling them square tips, as you will, square tips. So let me share this screen here. and you'll be able to see what I see. All right, I want to share the screen. All right, bear with me here. The handouts, you should be able to see them. Preview. My apologies for the delay. I tell you what, if we're unable to get it, if you shoot me your email addresses, I will definitely send them to you. And then next week we'll have them posted differently. But I wanted to show them to you though. All right. Well, we're going to move on because I used to do a lot of stuff with radio, and right now we're experiencing some dead air, and that's never good. So we'll come back to that, but I'll make sure those of you that have registered will definitely send you the handout, and basically what that handout is some tips and some resources to the CDC as well as the Small Business Association. There you'll find information about the COVID-19 and then what you would need to do in terms of the disaster relief program, the grant opportunities that are available for you and your business. Also, it's been mentioned that for those of you that are self-employed and may not be able to claim unemployment, that the Department of Labor is now opening up cases so that they can help you in your business. A lot of people that are self-employed may not have unemployment insurance or have access to be able to make a claim for unemployment. So the Department of Labor is being able to help you out in that situation. All right. So thank you again for joining us. I am Shawn Nicholson, again, the managing principal of SMN Square Incorporated, where we provide the building blocks for your success and sustainability in your business. Join us here every week, every Friday at 3 p.m. as I give you three tips that you can have sustainability and success in the workplace as well as your business. Now, next week, some of our tips would be productivity. And not only productivity, but how do we prevent from being procrastinators, right? And then as we prevent ourselves from being procrastinators, we're able to make sure that we're productive in everything that we do. So until next week, we appreciate you tuning in to us, and we look forward to seeing you again. Stay safe. I'm Shawn Nicholson. We'll see you next week.